we boarded the bus at 8:20 a.m. The driver, who also served as our guide, introduced the itinerary in a gentle voice throughout, at a measured pace that didn't disturb the passengers. I even fell asleep listening to him. The first activity was a miniature train ride, which was quite fun. After lunch, at our own expense, we went to the zoo, also at our own expense. The guide thoughtfully bought tickets for us if needed. The zoo wasn't large, but it was very natural. We could get up close to kangaroos, and peacocks flew around us. We even watched a sheep shearing demonstration, a very interesting experience. Next, they took us to a spot with a view of the sea, giving us a sense of being at the edge of the world, a delightful surprise. The highlight was watching the penguins return home. We wanted to upgrade to a closer-up ticket, but the guide kindly showed us how to get the best viewing angle, so we didn't need to upgrade and could still see the penguins passing by. Very interesting. Overall, it was a great and satisfying trip. Joining this tour is very convenient, no need to worry about transportation. The driver and guide will provide a brief tour. I don't recommend buying lunch, the fish and chips were extremely unpalatable. The steam train is a one-way trip, I originally thought it was round trip. Take photos of the departure point beforehand. After getting off the train, you'll board a bus to leave. The zoo is definitely worth the visit, you can buy a photo opportunity with the koalas at the counter. For the penguin parade, choose seats on the far sides of the viewing platform. After 2 or 3 groups of penguins come ashore, quickly move to the boardwalk for a clearer view. Aside from the limited time at each point, it's quite convenient and enjoyable. The morning ride on the steam train was fantastic, the hour-long journey flew by. In the afternoon, we visited Maru Wildlife Park, where we saw rare white kangaroos and even got to get up close and feed them. The highlight of the evening was seeing the penguins. It was quite windy at the beach, so be sure to dress warmly. The penguins were absolutely adorable, watching them slowly make their way from the beach to their home, sometimes stopping to rest, was so heartwarming. The whole day's itinerary was quite long, but it was mostly just long drives, so it wasn't too strenuous. The tour leader's schedule was excellent, we returned to the city promptly at 11:30 p.m. We departed at 8:30 a.m. and didn't return to Melbourne until midnight, a truly fulfilling trip. Our Chinese-speaking driver guide, Gordon, was incredibly dedicated and responsible, providing perfect explanations of the itinerary and managing the time flawlessly. I especially praised the comfortable tour bus. He also cautioned that it gets quite chilly in the mountains and even colder by the sea. Even though it was summer in the southern hemisphere, I was still freezing, so cold I almost gave up on seeing the penguins. I highly recommend bringing a jacket, at least a lightweight down jacket, for adequate warmth. We were initially expected to be the only group on the train, but there were actually other passengers, and they all filled the right side, which was a bit of a shame. However, the steam train ride was still very worthwhile, and watching the penguins was very interesting. Unfortunately, due to the journey, we couldn't stay too long. The penguins didn't start coming ashore until around 8:45 p.m., but we had to leave by 9:30 p.m., so we started moving to the parking lot at 9:10 p.m. The tour guide explained some stories about Melbourne, which I thought was quite good, as well as the unique features of the attractions. The little train itself was a lot of fun. The lake next to the visitor center was absolutely gorgeous, perfect for the season, and I took lots of beautiful photos. The kangaroos at the zoo were all very docile, and interacting with them was so therapeutic. Before heading to Penguin Island, our guide took us on a tour of the extra prairie where we saw tons of wild animals. Finally, watching the penguins come ashore in the evening was incredibly worthwhile and left a lasting impression. Awesome!